Welcome to Unscripted Coding. Today we're going to stand up a really quick WordPress website, talk a bit about hosting, and quickly launch a web page. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with WordPress, it is a blogging software, um, and it helps you put up web pages. Really quickly, there are some massive web pages that are built on WordPress. So over here, I recognize Rolling Stone, Vogue, but there are tons and tons and tons. I think some estimate there's something like a quarter or a third of all websites online are built on WordPress. I don't know if that's still actually true today. But one of the really key things about WordPress is it's a very simple, once you've launched it, it's very simple. It's like running, you don't need to code. You just have an editor, you throw up blog posts, and that ecosystem has grown so large that there are all sorts of plugins to send out emails, use short codes. More importantly, SEO, e-commerce. They really do add massive value to a website that goes well beyond a blog. But that's not why we're here today. Why we're here is to try and launch one of these sites up quickly. Now, one way you can do this is WordPress.com. WordPress.com will do all of the hosting for you, and charge you a fee for it. It's very simple, and if you have zero coding abilities, you just want to get started, it's a little pricier, but it is easy to use, simple. All of it is inclusive in a package for you. So that's one way of doing it. The other is to actually get hosting for WordPress. Now, I've been using WordPress for, I think, more than a decade now. And it used to be, and it still is, that there are these hosts that will launch a WordPress website for you really cheaply. And I remember when I was younger, and 10 years younger, it was something like 10 or 12 bucks a year. Very spotty connection, but you can throw it up and get it running pretty quickly. Add a $10 domain to it, you're set for the year at 20 something dollars. That doesn't seem like a good idea for me right now. So I'll show you guys what I've been working on. I've been working on a website to simplify legal contracts. And one of the things I wanted to do is put a little tab right here that says blog. And that way I can put articles up every now and then about my thoughts, about development, about progress, whatever it may be. And there's two things, and I'm just spewing out my thoughts here. The very first thing is it's really hard for a website like mine to drive traffic. It's a product, it's a service. And as a result, I am not going to be putting new products every week. But the key to driving traffic is new content, timely, relevant content. And the quick shortcut to that is putting a blog onto your site, or some sort of news post where you can put content up every week, every month, just something to keep your website changing and moving. So a blog really helps facilitate that. The other thing is you may drive traffic other ways, of course. Social media, I'm thinking Instagram accounts, TikTok accounts, Snapchat, Twitter. I'm just not really good with those. So I thought a blog is a good way to reach out to my niche audience, which are lawyers, legal professionals. They're probably not on TikTok, not a lot of them at least. The other thing about WordPress is that it's very well done. So part of what I was thinking was, did I want to build a blog from scratch? We know, well, maybe not obvious here, but I'm running Django in the background. And in theory, I can build out a blog that's like tutorial 101 on the Django website. I can do that. But WordPress has absolutely nailed things like search engine optimization. There's 1,000 plugins for it. It's already well built out of the box. It looks good. It's a bit of a juggle because on one hand, they've done that very well. On the other hand, when I click blog, it's going to take me to like a separate style, a separate look of the website. And there's a trade-off there. And I've decided, you know what? I like the ease of use of WordPress. Let's go with that. Okay. Enough of that kind of theory and background. WordPress should be very, very simple to build. WordPress.org is open source, but they suggest a number of posts. And I mentioned before that I used to use these really cheap web hosts when I was younger, and they just weren't very reliable. And I'm finding now that Bluehost is pretty cheap, especially since they are they're pretty cheap, especially since they're recommended. I cannot imagine that this will drop down and be of very poor quality. So I'm just gonna use it. And you know, after 10 years, $3 or $4, let's say, Canadian. So that's like $3 US times 12 months, 36. It's not even that much more expensive than it used to be. Okay. And these introductory rates are for the first term of service only and automatically renew at the regular rate. So there's the catch. If once we go back to the regular price, it becomes $12 or so a month, and that makes it 144 a year, so quite a bit more expensive. Introductory price quite expensive. Let's take a look at these other ones really quickly first. WordPress Basic. Don't think that's necessary, but okay, so same thing. Starts at $259 a month, goes up to $599. And finally, this one, $399 a month, normally 14. So I suppose after a year, it jumps up quite significantly, 3 or 4 times the price. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking I'm just gonna go with one of these hosts, and the reason being, and I'm now leaning towards DreamHost because the $599 is not too bad. One of the things that I was looking at online to try and figure out where I wanted to go was hosting it on Azure and AWS. And AWS has a couple options. Lightsail is fairly cheap at $350. It seems like it's a bit more work to actually get WordPress on there. And I'm just looking for something super simple, so I rolled that out. Azure seems to run WordPress fine, but until you get to the $20, $30 a month phase, it seems like they're very prohibitively expensive if you get one viewer a month. And I'm certainly starting there. I'm thinking of starting with maybe DreamHost right here, or Bluehost, and then migrating over to AWS or Azure once I get comfortable with it. So in a year, 2 years, I would move into a different different plan, and WordPress makes it very easy to migrate, especially since I'm planning to use basically vanilla WordPress. I'm not going to have forum plugins, e-commerce, a whole bunch of additional pieces. I'm basically just using it for its blog. It's going to be as plain as possible. It's going to be a very easy migration. So I'm thinking I'm going to be here for a year, maybe two. Bluehost. Bluehost isn't bad. Okay. And if I just do 3, I could probably swing $134. Take out these. Decisions. Okay, well, I am gonna turn my camera off. I thought I decided already, but I haven't. So I'm gonna turn off my camera and be right back when I think about this a bit more. Okay, so I decided to go with Bluehost, and I realized this isn't a difficult decision at all. We just have to migrate in between. I don't know if a lot of you guys have really poor cell phone plans in your country, but hopping back and forth and taking advantage of the deal is very much popular here. So for hosting, I figure I can do a year here, and if I'm not quite ready for my own Azure instance, I'll be able to just migrate over to DreamHost or SiteGround or someone else for another year. And again, the tools to migrate are incredibly robust. So obviously, I have just run through the purchase. Really, all they did was ask me for my personal information and credit card info, and you're ready to go. I took out all of the excess billing things. I didn't need security, hosting, all of these. Well, I needed hosting, but that's exactly all I needed. So $45 Canadian a year, very reasonable. I'm here. After I logged in with the account, I can create a website. Oh, and you can see a migration. So they probably expect you to jump back and forth as well. Let's see what we do. No help needed. Let's go with a blog. WordPress. Let's see. Bluehost website builder. Nope. I am gonna go with plain old website, and this is technology, maybe technology, finance and law. Let's go with technology. Myself. Tagline. Legal. Ugh. Wish I could come up with something witty on camera, but not quite. Legal tech. Explain. And we can always fix these. We can always go back. So this is a terrible tagline. We get to pick a theme. Premium ones are priced themes. I don't really need that, but I would like to take a look at the blog options. Thinking. Oh, well, that was fast. Okay. That was incredibly quick. We've chosen a couple things, and then if you take a look at my site, you can take a look at site. And there's a temporary domain here. And I can manage it and create various pieces here. They've already installed 4 themes, 6 plugins for me. We're all up to date. And just to show you guys what we can do here, and let me move this off screen, see how the login page would look. So it's taking a bit. Okay, this is what I'm familiar with, okay? When you log into WordPress and you're in a specific site now, you get all sorts of, you get to see the control panel basically. And what's great is you can just start adding a new post. And let's add a new post right here. And you'll see that this is a very user-friendly way of putting things together. Up front, they seem to have already added some SEO items for us, but let's add a title, Hello World, and we start typing. Thank you for welcome to the reference.legal job. Keep this. Okay. Nice, short, simple hello world post. Now it's readability. Passive voice, yes, I do that a ton. That's not great. And I know this is one long sentence. But we're just gonna publish this right now. And we're gonna be able to see it right on the site as soon as we publish. And you can see first post right here. Welcome. And if we go back to our front page, we're going to see some images. They've already posted a hello world for me. So there you have it. We stood up a WordPress website really quickly. You got to see very quickly and very gently how the WordPress admin panel looks like. But you start playing around with it. You can start putting pages, and normally this would have a couple tabs up top. I'm going to be trying to change how this front piece looks so that we have continuity with my site on the other side over here. So I'd like to make it look very similar, carry it over to here so that even though they're running on 2 different systems, you can still get a general sense of how you can see some general design continuity. But yeah, I love WordPress. Anyone who wants to start a website gets really ambitious and says, I want to start learning Django or HTML. But really, if all they want to do is blog or do a nice quick shopping website, I always recommend just start off with WordPress. So yeah, I hope that was helpful, and I hope I juggled some of the considerations I had when I was picking what makes the most sense. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comments below, but if not, thumbs up and subscribe. It's always really helpful for me to know. Thanks.